Hey, it's Tom Gallagher and got another edition of the story behind the car. The owner is not here, but I couldn't pass this one up. It looks like it's for sale, and I'll show you the brochure here in a moment, but it is, I've never seen one like this. So Continental Classic Cars, there's their information, but check out this hardtop convertible. I have never seen anything like this on a Mustang. Now, Ford Motor Company was known for this with their Lincoln Continental, and then they also had a, Ford had one that was a hardtop convertible, but I never have heard of or seen a Mustang hardtop convertible. Just, this has got to be, as they say, rare as hen's teeth. So I just had to shoot it, and like I said, the owner's not here. It's parked. Hey, it's Tom Gallagher, another edition of the story behind the car. I'm with Tyler, and this is his 1972 Mercedes-Benz 280 SE, and you don't see one of these at car shows very often, Tyler. What drew you to the Mercedes to begin with?
So there was a TV show, I don't even know how many years ago. I saw it on the TV show. It was Bates Motel.
Okay.
And they had this car, and I kept looking at the car, and something about the front end, the stacked headlights drew me to it.
Yeah, and that beautiful grille.
Yes.
And what engine is in it?
It's a 4.5 liter V8, fuel injected.
Was that their second to largest engine?
They had the 6.3, I believe.
For the limos?
Right, and
yes.
The other rendition of this was the 3.5, which is a little more rare.
Okay.
But you don't see those often at all.
Yeah,
At
it's
least
Tom
not
Gallagher,
around.
another edition of the story behind the car. We're looking at a 1973 Triumph, and I'm going to screw it up with
GT6.
GT6,
Yeah.
and I'm with Tom, and this is his, how long have you had the car, Tom?
Probably about 4 years.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And were you looking for a GT6?
Yes. Yeah. Actually, I had a MGB GT prior to this. And
Okay.
I had a Triumph TR7, 1980 TR7.
Yeah.
And then, I was looking for this car, and a friend of mine that has a restoration shop in St. Louis ran across it.
Wow. Now, was it the TR6 that was kind of boxy, or is that
Yes.
the 7?
Mm-hmm. Yep. No. So the 6 is the boxy one. The
Yeah.
7 is a really, well, I guess, depending on what you think of the design, it was the wedge-looking one.
Okay,
The shape,
yes.
the shape of things to come.
Yeah,
which,
I remember the
yeah.
ads, yeah.
Yeah.
A friend of mine had a TR6. We went to a drive-in movie theater. Had a hey, it's Tom Gallagher, and it's another edition of the story behind the car. We're in Springfield, Illinois, and we're with Trisha and her gorgeous 1959 Chevy Biscayne four-door. And can you tell us a little bit about the car?
Well, sure. I've had this for probably about 7 years now. My husband owns a shop where he builds cars and trucks, and a customer brought it in to have AccuAir put on it. So we did that for him, and then when he wanted to sell the car just shortly after that, I fell in love with it as soon as it was in our shop.
Yes.
And when he decided he wanted to sell it, I'm like, we need to get on it. So we've left it pretty original. We obviously changed the wheels and tires on it, and it had the AccuAir in it, but aside from that, pretty original paint.
Yeah.
Original interior.
Oh, this is the original paint.
Yes, mostly original. It had been
Yeah.
repaired years ago.
Done some touch-up and things.
Yeah,
Hey, it's
one
Tom
of the-
Gallagher, another episode of the story behind the car with Brian, a 1960 Cadillac Sedan DeVille. And Brian, this is one hell of a car, and you got a setup back here too. You're vacationing.
Thanks. Yeah, it's something you can take the whole family in. It's a big car, large sedan. The 4 doors are not worth as much as the 2 doors. This car's all in original condition. It would actually cost more to restore this car than it's practically worth. I mean, you know what I'm saying, for the practicality of it. But it's a fun car. I've had it for 35 years.
Holy cow.
So I was in a garage. We enjoy it. My wife and I were at the parade last night. I just always enjoy this show. It's a big draw, lots and lots of people.
And I'm going to walk around and show
Sure.
your car. And what drew you to it originally?
I used to show my wife, before we were even married, I'd show her pictures in magazines of these 59, 60 Cadillacs. And I was like, oh, someday I'm going to get one of those. And actually, she is the one that found it. That's why
really?
before I got married, but we were married already. But my wife found this car. She called me at work and said, hey, somebody.
So this is a unique edition of the story behind the car. I'm with Sandy and I'm with Gene, and this is Gene's 1956 Lincoln. And I interrupted them as they were getting their car ready for today's show. I'm going downtown, but I just couldn't resist shooting this. And Gene started to tell me about the car. He said it's a unique story behind it. And Gene, wanted to introduce myself and just say thank you for letting us shoot your car. Do you have any interesting stories behind it?
This car was originally owned by a fellow named Jerry Capizzi, C-A-P-E-Z-Z-I. Jerry's father was Henry Ford the first chief counsel. And Jerry ended up with, I don't know, interesting story, sideline was, 2 nights ago I met the guy who used to detail all of Jerry
Hey, it's Tom
Capizzi.
Gallagher. We got another episode of The Story Behind the Car. We're with Vic, and his 2 brothers are over there. This is their father's 1958 Sedan DeVille, correct? Cadillac Sedan DeVille.
Right.
And welcome to the channel. Can you tell us about the car, Vic? And I'm going to walk around while you're talking, if that's
All
okay.
right. Sure. Well, Tom, this car, obviously in its day, was a very expensive car. My father was a firefighter, so he couldn't go out and buy a brand new Cadillac. And so what happened was, this car was about 6 years old. It was 1964. And my dad would drive by the used car lot every day on his way to work, and he would see it there, and he would go in and he'd try to talk the salesman down, and then he would go home and try to talk my mom up.
Yes.
And over a period of about 6 months, he finally got the down with the up to somewhere.
Another episode of The Story Behind the Car, a 1970 AMC Rebel. And we're with Sam, and this is his car, and we just shot his son's car, and we were talking about that, and then Sam said that this was his car. So, Sam, tell me about the car. How long have you had it?
I've had it for about 4 years now. It's been in the family since brand new.
Really?
Yeah, my great-grandfather bought this brand new in 1970 as his last car. The family gave him crap about it because it was such a high, powerful car. He didn't need it at the age of 75, but he bought it anyway because that's what he wanted. And then when he passed away, my direct grandfather got it. He had it for a while until he died, and then it went to a cousin, and then I got it from my cousin.
And did it have the scoop when it was factory?
No,
Okay.
It was all still stock form when I got it. I did everything else.
Hey, it's Tom Gallagher, another edition of The Story Behind the Car. We're with John Novelli and his 1964 Pontiac, holy cow, GTO. And John has got so much information on this car, so for the most part, I'm going to ask a couple questions and then shut the hell up. So it's a tri-power, John?
Yes, sir.
Are those the original markings on the...
Yeah, that's the original
firewall?
truck. I took them off when I power washed the car, seen them on the firewall,
Wow.
and then traced them and put them back on.
And you were telling me that you've pretty much restored this car from...
Everything, the ground up. Yeah.
Ground up? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's an original number matching motor.
And I see the master cylinder with a single bowl.
Right.
This is a beautiful car. Out of curiosity, I always ask, is that an actual old battery or is that a
That's a topper.
1968 Chrysler 300? And this is going to be a good story. From what little Taran has told me, it's pretty interesting. I've got Taran, and he's, how old are you, Taran?
17.
17 years old. This is your first car.
Yep.
And you just bought it, what did you say, 2 months ago?
Yep, just about.
And you were telling me this is a 440?
Yeah, 440.
And I got to ask, what drew you to this car?
It was just a nice car.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was sitting in a barn since it was bought, so I figured, why let it sit there and rot, you know?
And so it was sitting in a barn. How long was it in the barn?
It was manufactured in '68 and it was bought that same year. That's how long.
So they bought it and then parked it in the barn?
Yes.
Holy crap. How many miles are on it?
Yeah, about 2,000.
Really?
Yeah.
Amazing. And there's got to be a story there. Was the original owner, did the original owner die, or why would you buy a car and then park it in a barn?